Okay, now you are ready to start. So we are delighted to have you here to participate in the 2016 Public Economic Theory meeting hosted by our Escola Brasileira de Economia e Finanças of Fundação Getúlio Vargas. And I know that many of you travel long distance to be here, so thank you very much for coming this morning. Indeed, this is the first time that PET meeting is organized in a Latin American institution, and you are also using this occasion to continue the celebration of the 7th birthday of Aloisio Araujo, which started last week with the 2016 SAET meeting at INPA, Instituto Nacional de Matemática Pura Aplicada, also in this city. So I also would like to thank the members of the table this morning, our president of the president of Fundação Getúlio Vargas, Carlos Ivan Simonsen Leal, our chairman, Rubens Penha Cysne, the president of APET, Myrna Wooders, Braido, co-organizer of this meeting, and Cuong, also from the APET organization, and our honored guest, Professor Aloisio Araujo. So, but before passing the microphone to the members of the table, let me just acknowledge the support of our sponsors, Fundação Getúlio Vargas, the Brazilian Research Agency, CNPq, Conselho Nacional de Desenvolvimento Científico e Tecnológico, and the Brazilian Bank of the Economic and Social Development, BNDES. Without their support, this meeting could not be possible. So. And thank you especially to Braido, who was the co-organizer of this meeting. So I'm passing the word to our president, Carlos Ivan, for a few words.
Good morning to everyone. I'm very happy to be here today. As it happens, I am an ex-student of Professor Araujo. I have met him 35 years ago when I was finishing my engineering course, and he had a profound influence on my education. So this is reason enough for me to be here on a Monday at 8:30 in the morning, but I'm glad also because I'm here to pay homage to a man that dedicated his life to fostering the teaching of economics in Brazil. When I was in engineering school, at that time, economic courses were of very, very bad quality. And most of the good students would either go to law, to medical studies, or to engineering. Very few good students did go to economics. Aloisio was an exception. He studied economics at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, later went to study statistics in the US. He had also gotten a degree in statistics here at the National School of Statistics, ANSI, and he studied at INPA, the Pure and Applied Institute of Mathematics. When I met him, and I remember that day quite clearly, when I met him, it was July, August 1979. I still remember your office, Aloisio, your small office at the old INPA building there in Rua Luiz de Camões. And I went to talk to him because a friend of mine was going to be here today also, Sergio Vellan, said, well, we have to talk to that guy. He has something interesting to tell us. And it was a surprise to find an economist that knew mathematics and, of course, that talked a lot of things that made sense to us, to engineering students. We had a lot of prejudice at that time against economists. So at the end, Aloisio not only convinced us not to pursue economics, not to pursue engineering, not to continue with our studies in engineering. Of course, we both got a degree in engineering, but we decided to study economics under him at INPA. And he also convinced us that it would be nice to come to Getúlio Vargas Foundation, where he was starting as a professor. This was 1981. And later on, he sent us both, as he sent many students to the US to get their PhDs. So this was his influence in my education, and he has been a friend for over 30 years. And I say to anyone that is willing to listen, if you want a good idea, if you want to have a good intellectual discussion, just go to Aloisio, because he has enough ideas for 100 students. And he has been doing that. Humberto studied under him. Braido studied under him. Shimura and Rubens, all directors of FGV, studied under him. So FGV, at least in the core economics area, nowadays is a reflection of Aloisio Araujo, as much it is a reflection of other names like Eugênio Godin and Myrna Wooders. So, Aloisio, thank you very much for your career, academic career done in Brazil, dedicated to Brazil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carlos Ivan. Now our chairman, Rubens Penha Cysne.
Good morning. I'd like to have the words said by Carlos Ivan repeated on my behalf and on behalf of our Graduate School of Economics, FGV, EPGE, Escola Brasileira de Economia e Finanças. And I'd like also to thank all those who are responsible for us being here today. I remember the first time that Professor Wooders and we talked about that. That was when Professor John Nash was visiting us, and we first time talked about the possibility of having the PET here. And I'm very glad to see that it came to a good end. I'd like also to thank the other organizers from abroad, and especially Professor Braido, Luis Braido, who is also in charge of our undergraduate studies, and Professor Humberto, Vice Director of our school, responsible for teaching and research. Make a special acknowledgement besides those already made by Professor Carlos Ivan to Professor Araujo for what he has done, since I am speaking on behalf of the school, for what he has done for our school. He has been leading economic research. He has been leading as a professor. As Professor Carlos Ivan said, I myself and all of my colleagues have benefited from the fact that he put his life as a service of education here in this country, and to mention the nice headlines that we have had in the press by the occasion of this seminar. So today and yesterday we have a whole page of most important newspaper in Brazil covering the very important issue of education. So this is already a byproduct of the seminar, but a very important byproduct. Last, I would like to thank our president, Professor Carlos Ivan, who has always supported all the initiatives of our school, including this one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rubens. Now, Myrna Wooders, the president of APAD.
Okay, thank you, Humberto. First, I'd like to welcome everybody here on behalf of the Association for Public Economic Theory. I'd like to also thank the FGV for hosting this wonderful event. And it was really, as your president mentioned, it was very exciting for me to meet him and Rubens and talk about the possibility of having this event here. And I'm very happy it materialized. And I also want, of course, to wish Aloisio his a happy birthday, and to say that it was very early in my career that I started to learn about economics that was going on in Brazil, and about Araujo's work. Right? It was he was developed, I think, economic theory in Brazil, at least for the rest of the world. That's the way we see it. I also want to say a few things on behalf of APED and the Journal of Public Economic Theory. First, next year, our meetings will be in Paris. You'll have some more information about that today. And another very exciting event for us is that the website of the Journal of Public Economic Theory has moved to one provided by Wiley, and it functions very well. We also have additional services and benefits from doing this, and we're looking forward to further growth and development of the journal. I also want to announce that we have 2 new editors. In addition to myself, I'm being joined by Rabah Amir and Gareth Miles. Okay, would you guys stand up so people can see who you are? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And let's see, I think that's all. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you. Now, Cuong Levan for a few words.
It's okay. So, I have just a few words for Aloisio. Aloisio, my scientific career has been influenced by the contribution in economic theory of Aloisio, and in particular in general equilibrium theory. And Aloisio, in some papers by him, some proof were very subtle, and I have learned a lot. Now, I would say just the following. In Vietnamese, we have a word we call sư phụ, that is the master. The master is more than the professor. And I would say that Aloisio is a master for many generations of economists in Brazil, but not only in Brazil, but also around the world. So he must be a sư phụ. In Vietnamese, we say that.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you very much. So I'm representing the local organizer, but I don't know if Luis Braido wants to say something else.
No, not really. Just thank everyone to come. I hope we have like a very exciting and productive conference, and happy birthday to Aloisio.
Now our honor Professor Aloisio for the final words in this open session.
Okay, thank you for all the kindness in to have me at this great meeting that's starting now, and then I feel very thankful to all of you that came. That's for Pat, but partially for me. And start with Carlos Ivan Simonsen. He was first a very influential person here was his uncle, Myrna Simonsen, that we owe a lot, economic theory. He was a policymaker, but also somebody that took economics and particularly, but mainly economic theory, mathematical economics. He was a gifted mathematician, and then he always gave space. So he opened the space initially for me here. And then, since then, Carlos Ivan, that started as being my student, that become the head of this great institution with the marvelous intellectual skills and also administrative skills. It's not easy to have a big institution like that to work in Brazil. I mean, cannot imagine. Actually, nowadays you can imagine, right, how Brazil looks from outside. You can imagine a big institution of research in economics, both applying economics, data collecting, that Shimura here in front, that's one of the head of the price statistics and some parts of GDP and many studies. And then we are big in São Paulo and teach course of business schools for everywhere, middle management, higher management. It's very hard. And that Carlos Ivan managed everything. He's an important man in policy making, talks to very influential people in Brazil, trying to make Brazil a little less problematic than it is. And it's always kept a gentle relationship with me. And that's find very admirable. I can always trust him. Not every day I don't see him, because always he's busy with something. But so the work that you do in economics, in theoretical economics, in your master and PhD, that produce so many students, that Humberto, many people here in this table so important. Rubens is the current director. He's being supported by Carlos Ivan, and then I want to thank him, especially in this occasion. You see, we are growing in this new auditorium, some new project in a situation in Brazil, it's not easy. So, and you need that, right? Somebody that's not exactly the government, but anyhow. And I want to thank my ex-student, Humberto, that's played a very important role, did research together for a long time. And now he's one of the main person. Rubens, that carries what Carlos Ivan do in the general level he does for our group, master and PhD and research. Again, it's not easy. I mean, there's lots of bumps here, but kept doing it, being the leading, in terms of publication, still are in Latin America, according to these people, I guess in Holland, that they do the statistics, right? Tilburg. This called to ranking Tilburg. And then Braido is a gifted economist. I always learn a lot from him. And they participate here. And then I want to thank also Myrna, because she took the initiative to do this meeting here, partially in my honor. And then I was the fourth to know. I was already, everything was done, decided when I learned about it. So I was extremely happy. And Cuong is a great intellectual, and I enjoy a lot his work. Meant a lot for me, and all of you that came here. But let me, before I forget, that some sponsors have been very important for this meeting. CNPq, the Brazilian National Foundation, this research foundation, BNDES, the big development bank that gave some financial support. Getúlio Vargas Foundation, that when they start doing the meeting, they put some seed money, so that's where we could start. And then some private donors, and the staff of Getúlio Vargas. So I felt not only the society, a pet that to benefit, but me particularly, I want to thank Gorette and some secretaries, and thank you all, and it's touching my heart. The only disadvantage, let me complain a little bit. I cannot lie about my age any longer, so it may become public. Thank you all, and a great moment.
Thank you. So I think we have time, but now we can enjoy a little bit more the coffee break just now. Thank you for all.